High in the hills overlooking Tbilisi, a €40 million complex. Not a Bond villain's lair, but the base of Bidzina Ivanishvili, the billionaire behind Georgia's opposition. He blames President Mikhail Saakashvili for spoiling the view.
I tried to teach Saakashvili, but he didn't understand. So many houses are falling apart in the old city. He could have renovated all of it.
The pair's political rivalry is also a clash of architectural tastes. With an official fortune worth €5 billion, 56-year-old Ivanishvili is said to be richer than the Georgian state. A newcomer to politics, he made his money buying up cheap public assets during the fall of the Soviet Union and retains major business interests in Russia.
My main opponent keeps using the argument that I'm working for the Kremlin, that I'm Putin's puppet. He's using that against me because he has nothing else to say. My past is 100% clean.
October the 1st's parliamentary elections are a huge test for this fledgling democracy. Behind the constituency battles, this is a fight between two heavyweights, even though neither is standing in person. The staunchly pro-US Saakashvili swept to power on the back of 2003's Rose Revolution. Amid this vitriolic campaign, he says voters face a simple choice between the West and Moscow.
Russia thinks that we Georgians have grown tired, that with these elections we're just going to hand ourselves over on a platter. They think that what they didn't achieve by other means, maybe they can achieve with kind words and bribe. They think they can take back our beautiful country.
To the charge of bribery add mutual accusations of corruption and coercion. Georgia's revolution no longer looks so rosy. In the centre of the capital, we meet TV reporter Nodar Shashua. He tells us how in late August a stranger approached him in the street. This is his version of what followed.
It all took place here. Some guy came up to me and ordered me to sit in a car parked over there, so I did what I was told.
Inside the vehicle, a group of men showed Nodar a sex tape starring him and a woman he was involved with 3 years ago. He has no idea how they obtained the footage. This man keeps watch as we film. He's a colleague from Nodar's channel, TV9.
The men asked me to work with them to collect compromising information on my colleagues and on political parties and the movements of political leaders.
Part of Georgia's polarised media landscape, TV9's financed by Bidzina Ivanishvili, owned by his wife. The tycoon tells us he feels targeted by the authorities.
There is nothing but violence in what they say and do. There are so many examples in these elections of them creating problems for us, of preventing our supporters from expressing themselves.
A few days later, Nodar's flat in Tbilisi's workaday eastern suburbs was turned over. The men in the car tracked him down again, this time demanding he sleep with a male colleague. Potential blackmail material in a conservative society. He told his bosses, contacted the police, and the story hit the headlines.
I told them to find someone else, but they said that wouldn't work. They said they trusted me because I was this guy's colleague and he wouldn't suspect anything. They promised to pay me well.
Nodar tells us he managed to identify one of the mystery men in internet footage featuring the Interior Ministry logo. Since the break-in, he's heard nothing.
The situation became so public and got so much attention that I don't think it's going to happen again. Of course, you never know. It could. But I don't think it will. I reckon this is the end of it.
Nodar's case is under investigation. A senior security source told us such inquiries often find allegations like his are baseless. Saakashvili's camp is on the counter-attack. It claims the opposition has offered citizens goods in return for their votes. One of the president's right-hand men tells us Ivanishvili is using his wealth in gross violation of electoral rules.
Offering or providing goods in exchange of political support by a political entity is a vote buying. Again, I would separate that. If they would have promised, if we win elections, we'll have a project funded by a budget that everybody will get free refrigerator, I would say it's a lie, but it's not illegal to lie during campaign. Otherwise, many people would go to jail everywhere in the world.
Before Saakashvili, Tbilisi's infrastructure was creaking, blackouts and water shortages frequent. Since 2004, modernisation has come at a breakneck pace, sometimes with mitigated results. But progress Saakashvili's style has left many by the wayside. Every day, these men clamour in front of passing cars in search of casual work.
Sometimes they come often, sometimes they don't come at all, and we can go a whole day without getting any work.
Electricians, plumbers, odd job men, the few tools they have lined up by the roadside. The tariff for a day's work is 10 euros. Some estimates say unemployment stands at twice the official rate of 15%. The out of work and the poor, a natural pool of support for the opposition.
Anybody who's got a job is in with the government, and even then the salaries are rubbish.
But not all of those who've experienced hardship are hard done by. These neat rows of houses may look like a flagship residential project, but this is a refugee camp. Its inhabitants come from South Ossetia, the disputed territory at the heart of the war with Russia 4 years ago. 15,000 people fled to Georgia. 2,300 of them live here. Tarmac roads, electricity, sturdy homes. These refugees are being well treated.
Welcome to my house. Here there's a bedroom. We have gas, water, all's well.
A well-equipped two-bedroom home. Sopio enjoys better living conditions than many Georgians. The facilities here were paid for by Tbilisi and the EU.
We've been living here since 2008, when we had to leave our homes because of the war. We came with the whole family, and we had everything we needed at the time, given the circumstances.
Sopio is a dentist and had no trouble setting up her own on-site clinic. Until recently, utilities here were free. Now residents pay, but they own their own homes, and at least one person per household has a job. The camp functions like any normal town. From a refugee symbolic of Saakashvili's squabbles with Russia, there's optimism.
Personally, I didn't have any problems because we had a license to open the practice. No one tried to stop me. On the contrary. I believe that if you really put your mind to it, anything is possible. As far as the country is concerned, I think we're on the right track for the future.
But it's the ghosts of the past which are causing fear not far away in Marneuli, on the road to Azerbaijan. The town's population is almost entirely ethnic Azeri. Soviets, like anyone else under the USSR, they suffered during the racial tensions which followed its collapse. Now there's concerned minorities are again being singled out by ultra-nationalists in Ivnishvili's Georgian Dream coalition. Geography teacher Elman Jafali takes us to the school he's worked in for over 30 years. As in many places in Georgia, rebuilding work is in full swing.
Work, work, and work. You got to get to work.
These workers have no time to lose. Classes start in a week's time.
This is a great door, nice and heavy.
Worries over extremists in the opposition mean approval of the status quo is strong here. Georgia's masters are relatively new, but sometimes the language remains old school.
I'd like to thank our Ministry of Education and Science for renovating our school. I've worked here for 35 years, and I cannot remember such a wonderful renovation.
Elman takes us to meet his friends. Like most people here, they speak mainly Azeri and Russian, but the Saakashvili years have seen the advance of the Georgian language. Coupled with positive discrimination, it's part of a concerted effort to bring all parts of the population under the national umbrella.
When I was 47, a new post came up where I work. I applied. There were 12 of us, 11 ethnic Georgians and me, and I got it.
Minority ethnic groups constitute 15% of Georgia's population. As polling day approaches, the government's playing up its role as their protector.
It doesn't matter if you're Armenian, Georgian, Azeri, or whatever. There are no more ethnic problems here.
Respecting diversity is one of the key demands of Georgia's Western backers. Keeping a keen eye on these elections is the church. 83% of the population identify themselves as Georgian Orthodox. It's the country's most influential institution. Politicians court it to the tune of millions of euros. This cathedral was built with Bidzina Ivanishvili's money. The Patriarch rarely intervenes in politics, and the church is remaining impartial in this poll, officially at least.
There is no government but through God. If a government comes to power, we must accept them, whether we like them or not, because God sent them.
After a brutal electoral period which has exaggerated the divisions in society, both sides fear unrest when election results come out. If that does happen, the country's priests may have to calm the storm.
The Church does everything possible to ensure peace in the country, and if there's a challenge to that, we must try to stay calm and non-violent. If the government is to be changed, God will change it.
Georgian priests are not the only ones watching. Come October the 1st, the West and the Russians will be looking towards Tbilisi. This reborn nation's democratic credentials are on the line.